Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self. And today we're talking about 10 ways to have the best week ever, how to have a really great week. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on social media. I am at Sabrina Joy Prozo on both TikTok and Instagram. So I look forward to hearing from you there and saying hi and becoming friends online. If you don't know how to spell that, it is all the way down in the show notes. So take a look at that at some point after you listen, while you're listening, like whatever you want to do. As well as in the show notes, there's a way for you to sign up for the weekly newsletter that goes out every Wednesday evening. And that's around like 6 or 7 p.m. PST. And then, because I share like some deeper thoughts, some more insights that I get out of going to therapy myself, and just some couple other announcements and things that you may not hear about on the socials and other places, as well as being able to submit a topic suggestion anonymously, being able to anonymously like vent if you have a lot of struggles and things that you want to just like emotions you want to get off your chest, but you don't have anyone that's like emotionally available for you to do that in your real life. You're welcome to do that through a link down there in the show notes. And you're also welcome to buy the Emotions Every Day, the planner that I have for sale, and that's still available. It's like probably a really great gift for someone if you know they want to work on their emotional health, but they don't know where to start, because the journal itself is pretty guided and it can just help you offer that to someone as something super easy and efficient and quick for them to do every day. There's other stuff down there in the show notes, but I'll let you just, peruse around, look around, just so we can just jump right into today's topic, which again is 10 ways to have the best week ever. So I know that a lot of people like to get ready for the week ahead, like on Sundays, with meal planning and prepping, laundry, to-do lists, and all kinds of things. And believe me, I love me a good to-do list. I don't just use those on the weekend though. I like to use those every single day. It's just so helpful. But yeah, there's a lot of people that like to start their week off so well that they do all this stuff on Sundays. And I think that's great. I honestly do, like no sarcasm. I think that's great. Whatever you can do to feel prepared for the week ahead, if you actually care about that. Some people just don't care about that, and that's fair. But yeah, whatever you can do to prepare for the week ahead will be really beneficial to you, because you're just making sure that you feel like not everything is a hot mess. You're not yet on the struggle bus. And so you're kind of ahead of the game, right? That's at least how I see it. But I personally, don't do any like big prep for the week ahead, because despite knowing mostly what is going to happen that upcoming week, like knowing the appointments that I have, what's in my schedule, what kind of meetings do I have for work, what needs to get done by like whatever due date, right? Like I know what's coming. I still want to leave room for flexibility. And that took me a long time to learn, because there was a time where I would look at my own like personal calendar, planner, however I was detailing everything I was doing during the day. And then if I noticed that there were like empty spots, it's like, oh no, there's empty spots. We got to fill those. We got to figure out what we're doing. We got to be on top of every little single thing. But, in as of late, in the last, I don't know, maybe a couple years, I just want to leave room for flexibility. It makes me feel more comfortable than not having any time left in my schedule, which is what used to make me feel comfortable. And it's also because I already struggle with being a control freak. Just be perfectly honest. And if you're not new here, you know this is something I talk about often. But yeah, I already struggle with being a control freak. And I don't want to feed too much into that behavior as much as I can, right? I am actually being very cognizant about the fact that, hey, I don't want to struggle even more than I already do with this behavior. And so I'm just not going to feed too much into that. I'm not going to need to like nitpick and be like on top of everything. But I will say, just so you know, I'm not a total like psycho. If I need to do laundry to ensure that I have clothes to wear for like Monday's workout, like if we're talking about, prepping on Sunday and being prepared for Monday, like I want to make sure I have workout clothes on Monday morning and to wear to work that day. Even though I work from home, it's still important that I at least look good from the waist up. Sure, I'll do some laundry. And even then, sometimes I don't, and I'm just scrambling. But if I can just like think ahead, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's make sure we have a workout outfit. Let's make sure we have a regular outfit to drive our kid to school in and to work in. Great. We will do it. I will do some laundry. But I'm not going to do all the laundry in the house or anything like that. I'm just absolutely not. Even now, well, now is a different situation because we moved in and we've been avoiding doing laundry because we're waiting to have all of the, new dressers and everything set up so we can put stuff away where it needs to go. And so nothing's put away, and that means no laundry has been done because there's nowhere to put it. Anyway, I digress. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna do like under normal circumstances, I'm not gonna do all the laundry in the house or anything like that. When I think about preparing for the week ahead, personally, I like to lean more into prepping my mind and my emotions for like whatever is scheduled to happen and what is likely to happen. So, I'm not saying that I know exactly everything that's going to happen, but it's like I want to be prepared for what I know it's already scheduled in my calendar, and then what is likely to happen based on previous experience and not fear. We're not like, leaning into fear here where we're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so worried about all these things and I need to have like five backup scenarios." No, it's just more like, "Oh, okay, well, you know, this fell through last time, maybe it will, so let's just be prepared for that," like that kind of thing. So this still like we're still staying away from being too controlling, which is the goal, but just kind of like, okay, how can I prepare my mind and my emotions to take on what is happening this week? And, which brings me to what I wanted to chat with you about today, which is like how to have a great week. And it sounds so generic and so possibly boring, but you're like, but you're here and you're listening and you're like, okay, Sabrina, tell me, like, are you going to actually amaze us with good knowledge? I hope so. It's the goal every time. But I want to talk about real ways for you to have a great week. And it's not going to be like typical answers like making sure every single room is clean in your house or meal prepping or journaling or anything you would typically read like on a list on Pinterest or anything like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with those lists at all. Like at all, because I feel like I used to like ride or die those lists, and that used to be me, where it's like everything needed to be in its place and we needed to be prepared for everything at the top of the week. But I just think the list I'm about to give you will really help your mindset and emotions, give you a really great week. And those things, when those things are like dialed in and prepared for the week, you are ready. You are ready to be able to dominate the week despite what happens. And it's going to be a really great week. So I have 10 ways that I'm going to share with you today. We're going to jump right into them here at the here right now at this point in the show, because I know if you're not new here, you're like, oh, Sabrina, you don't normally start actually getting into the points until like minute 16, 17. No, no, no. We're starting now because we have 10. Okay. So, and if you're not new here, if you are new here, yes, it usually takes me about 15 minutes to get to the list of tips and advice. And hey, if you are that person that normally fast forwards and you end up in the middle of the list this time, that's when you know don't fast forward all the time. Okay, anyway, I'm just kidding with you guys. But yeah, so here we go. 10 ways to have a great week. Number one, don't, oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. As always, before I get into my list, and I know you're like, oh, again. Yes, every time, unfortunately. Before I get into this list, I want to let you know that all of this advice and these tips are based on my own research and knowledge and my personal experience and the experiences of others that I am allowed to share. If you find that any of the information and knowledge that I'm giving you does not align with what you believe is true for you, I highly encourage you to talk to a therapist or a counselor, and they can, with that one on one time, really help you connect with what would actually align with you and figure out a better plan in regards to how to have a great week. Or you can go to our best friend, Google, and type in how to have a great week. And again, knowledge upon articles, upon lists that you can refer to. Okay, 10 ways. Let's go. Number one, don't pretend you're happy when you're not. And just so you know, this is not in any particular order, but I did think that this one would be fun to start with. Do not pretend you're happy when you're not. There's no reason to. You're probably like, oh no, to have the best week ever, I need to be happy the whole time. You don't. Because I feel like even thinking about like what a great week looks like is very subjective, and it depends on every person's perspective. Like maybe having a good week for you is just like minimal distractions, minimal issues cropping up, just being able to get through the week without constantly having to put out fires, right? But someone else might think, oh my gosh, it could be the best week ever if everything just went my way. And I want to caution you into thinking, into like understanding that that really shouldn't be your perspective. I know that everyone's perspective is different, but I would caution you with that perspective because that's just not how life is. Not everything is going to go your way. And we need to prepare our mind and emotions for that kind of thing. But back to what I was saying, don't pretend you're happy when you're not. Don't allow your emotions to build up and bubble over by the end of the week, right? Because like if you're just pretending and you're just kind of like brushing everything under the rug, you're like, I'm not angry, I'm not frustrated, I'm not upset, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the week, it all bubbles over and just it's like a volcanic eruption, and you might be thinking, oh no, Sabrina, I sweep it under the rug until the end of the month. Okay, well that's still gonna ruin some week that you're in, so why not just honor and accept whatever emotions that you're having, and that will actually set you up to have a better week because maybe it'll allow you to deep dive into the reasons why this or that is always uh, a leading thing into you being frustrated or angry or feeling however you are. And then you can get to the bottom of it and, kind of like nip it in the bud so it's not like bothering you as much. And then that'll help you have good weeks like going forward, right? You see what I mean? So don't pretend you're happy when you're not because it's not going to help you have a good week. It's really just going to cause this turmoil inside, frustration, not happy, and it's fake. And we don't want to be fake. We want to be our most authentic self that we can be in those moments every day. It's changing and shifting, I'm sure, by the minute, but be the best that we can so that we can understand who we actually are and what we actually need to become our best selves every single day. Okay? Okay, so don't pretend you're happy when you're not. Number two, remember that one down experience doesn't have to dictate the rest of the day or the week. So when I say down experience, I don't want to say like bad. I mean, it's subjective, right? So if you think it's like bad, a bad experience or a negative experience, however you want to think about it. So if one bad thing happens or one thing that just like causes you distress or not causes you, like leads you to distress, leads you to feeling like you're upset. I can't believe this didn't work out. This is so frustrating. This really sucks, right? Those moments. Do not allow those moments to dictate how the rest of your day is going to go or how the rest of your week is going to go, right? Just because that happened doesn't mean the whole day needs to be like thrown in the toilet. Just because, this thing might impact what happens the rest of the week doesn't mean the whole week has to be thrown in the toilet. You just need to focus and realize, okay, this thing happened. Let's do our best to deal with this, problem solve whatever needs to happen and then move on. And maybe it'll take you a little bit longer to readjust like your attitude and your mood and how you're feeling, but still you don't have to just throw everything away just because of that one experience. Okay? So don't allow that thing to just like have waves through everything. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to anything else that's coming up in the week that just because something happened on Tuesday that Thursday is going to be terrible, and especially if that's the day where you're supposed to be spending time with other people. You don't need to hold on to that anger that long if you take the time to really understand it better, get to the core level of what's going on, and then figure out a plan of what to do next to fix the situation and keep moving forward. Okay? Remember that one down experience doesn't have to dictate the rest of the day or the week. Number three, remember that only you are in control of your emotions, including reactions and responses. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are tired of hearing me say that. I am not sorry. That's the way that you feel. It has to be a reminder, a constant reminder, because I feel like it's one that we will often forget and we will continue to try to project and blame that on other people. That's not it. It's only you. I promise you, like with everything inside of me and all the knowledge that I've read, and even like professionals that I've consulted with and talked to, it is the truth, okay? It's the truth. I'm sorry if that's, I'm not sorry. It's unfortunate if you don't believe that, but it's true. It just is true. It's fact. It's actual fact. And it's not this like, oh, well, maybe it is or maybe it isn't. No, no, no. It's you. It's all you. Because you're the only person inside you. You're the only person that can like change your mindset. Now, if you are a victim, have that victim mindset, you give away your power to someone else and you kind of like, manipulate them into making your decisions and choices for you. That's one thing, but that's still a decision that you made to do. You were still control that. You could still take it back if you wanted to. So, how will this help you have a great week? I'm sure you're like, well, what does this have to do with it? Because if you are able to remember that you're the only person in control of your emotions, including your reactions and responses, then you'll know that if something happens, if you're privy to someone's attitude, outburst, or whatever situation that you're in, that you don't have to react if you don't want to. You could actually default to a response, which is taking a beat to really decide what would actually be beneficial and helpful in the moment that you're in, and then like respond by saying what you need to say, something that you're not going to regret, and something that will actually help you move forward in whatever the situation is. You get to choose. Someone yells and screams in your face, you can walk away without saying anything, right? You don't have to yell and scream back. You don't have to resort to any sort of physical violence. You don't have to do any of that. You get to choose. And that'll help you have a good week because you don't have to, feel like you're in regret for how you reacted, for how you allowed your emotions to control you instead of you controlling your emotions. Because you are the only one that can control them. You're the only one. And this again will help you have a great week because then if you choose to not let something bother you as much as you may have in the past, then it won't be so heavy for you to deal with through the rest of the week and it'll be a really great week. So, just something to consider. Remember that you are the only one in control of your emotions, including reactions and responses. Number 4. Now, I feel like number 4 is probably the most like classic one that maybe you'll see on a list. I did not double check. I just know that in the past of me looking at lists, I didn't necessarily see this. But number 4, it's going to be really great to be beneficial for a good week. Confirm your appointments. Confirm your appointments, okay? Wasted time is the worst, right? Like if you go all the way to whatever, or even if it's just you pulling up a website on your computer because it's a Zoom link or whatever it is, still waiting and taking time out of your day to do this thing and then it doesn't happen. Mm, no, wasted time is the worst. So, doing your best to prevent that from happening is worth it. I'm just telling you, like, you will have a better week if you have confirmed all the appointments that you have. This is outside of, hey, something happened to them, to the person that you're supposed to be meeting with, and they had to like cancel the appointment last minute. That's a difference. That's different than like, showing up and then realizing that they actually meant for you to come tomorrow or come like 2 hours later or earlier or whatever when you could have just like confirmed it. And I know that a lot of times we feel like the responsibility of confirming appointments is on whoever is setting the appointment originally. Like, okay, let me write it down. But no, I think it would be beneficial for you to confirm your appointments so you don't waste your time and you don't have to be like, oh, I could have been doing this, that, and the other this week. Nope. You already know whether it's going to happen or whether it's not. And then you can have a really great week. So confirm your appointments. Number 5, stop yourself when you start to compare yourself. Now, obviously, a lot of people talk about not comparing yourself. And you're probably thinking, interesting to put like stop comparing yourself in a way to have like in 10 ways to have like a great week. And I think that if you're able to catch yourself in the act of comparing yourself to someone else, because the grass is always greener, then it'll help you have a better week because you're not so consumed with this thought process of like, why aren't you matching up to them? Why aren't you at the same level in the same season of life and this, that, and the other? And you'll actually appreciate yourself more and you'll look to like, okay, what am I doing? What am I progressing in? I'm so happy and so proud of myself that I'm doing this, that, and the other, rather than being so focused on someone else and what the heck they are up to. It's not worth it to compare yourself. And I'm even telling myself that because it's one of the things that I struggle with the most. And the quicker that you can catch yourself in the act, the better. And then when I say in the act of comparing yourself to someone else, the quicker you can catch yourself in the act, the better you'll get at not doing it as much. And I will never say like not doing it at all because we're not perfect beings. We have faults, and sometimes we will fall back into old behaviors. But the more that we work on it, the quicker we are able to just pull ourselves back up and away and move right along, right? Without no shame, no yeah, like really no shame or feeling guilty or feeling embarrassed. Like maybe those will come for like a moment, but will pass quickly because you realized, oh, I'm not perfect, but at least I'm not allowing myself to stay in that behavior or mindset that I'm trying to avoid as much as possible and not get into because it's not healthy. And that's freaking amazing. So stop comparing yourself when you start stop yourself when you start comparing yourself because that'll get in the habit of being like, I don't need to do this because I am awesome in all of these ways. And your life is good in all of these ways right now. And that's great for them, but it's also great for you right now, right? Right? Okay. So stop yourself when you start to compare yourself. Okay, number 6. Number 6, manage your expectations. Now, this might feel like a classic, but it is, and it's important. And I feel like you will have a really great week if you do manage your expectations. And honestly, this is something that I've been working on a lot too. And I feel like I'm getting a lot better at it because when something doesn't work out, I don't find myself being so upset about it. I'm just like, okay, well, it is what it is. And that might sound cheesy or just like negative. It's not. Really, when I tell myself it is what it is, it's actually me just being in like a neutral mindset of like, okay, well, I could be really upset about this, but I'm choosing not to. And then I could be on the other spectrum of like, oh, okay, it's all gonna work out. Like, and sometimes I am, and sometimes I will be there. But usually I'm like, I will set up camp in the neutral mindset of like, it is what it is. And then I will kind of like shift towards more positivity as time goes on. And it's never like always at the top, but I will shift more there once I really figure out, okay, what can we do next? But it's important to manage your expectations. So if you know with complete, like despite the fact that you will know with complete certainty that you can accomplish everything on your list, and I made a list today of probably like 10, 12 things that I want to do, did not accomplish them all. I thought I could, and I think in theory I could have, but still I needed room for flexibility, and I was glad that I did because now I'm not like disappointed that I didn't get all those things done. But I'm like, okay, well, what can I learn from this and how can I do better to finish more of my list next time? And not even being like, oh, I have to do all that plus everything tomorrow. It's just like, okay, well, I set my priorities in my mind and I got those things done on the list and that's fine and that's good enough. So, you know, we never know when something unexpected will happen, right? We can't tell the future. So having more realistic expectations can help you not feel overwhelmed or panicked if something comes up that you have to deal with and your list of things that you need to do is super long, or how you need to perform, or how much you need to do of this, that, and the other. Maybe you're like, I need to wake up and work out for 60 minutes every day, but for whatever reason, you woke up a little bit late and now you can only work out for 45. You don't have to be really upset about it. You can, that's fine, whatever you want. But you can manage the expectation of like how you need to do that every day and just be like, you know what? How about we lower the expectation to let's work out every day, right? And then do our best of how long we can. And that might shift from day to day or week to week, and that's fine, right? You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So we need to have more realistic expectations in our life, and that really will have us, my goodness, that really will help us have a great week because then we're not stressing out about having to do this, that, and the other to meet these crazy high expectations that we set for ourselves that are unrealistic. Okay? Manage your expectations. Number 7. Number 7 is a good one. They're all good ones, but this is a really good one that I don't think I've seen on a list. It's ask for help. You'll see it on many other lists for sure, but to have a great week, ask for help. If there is something that even though you don't want to admit it out loud, it's fine. I get it. But if there's something you know would work out better with some help, then just ask for help, right? If you get a no, that's fine. That's fine. We all need to learn how to handle rejection better. Me too. Me too. I'm telling you. But we just need to ask for help. At least try to get the help that you need or want to create more ease and efficiency in your life. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Honestly, we need to push our ego and pride aside and ask for help more often because it allows the people that you are asking to help you, especially if you're asking them to help you in something they know how to do really well. They're able to, like work in their giftings and talents and abilities, and that makes them feel really good. Makes them feel really special. And maybe that's even their love language of helping people. So don't discount that. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be burdensome. This is actually like a whole thing that recently happened with my husband where we moved. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we moved, not the moving part. I've mentioned that too many times. We moved, but my husband didn't want to tell anyone that we were moving because he didn't want to put the burden on other people of feeling like they had to offer to help, right? We've moved several times and we always ask, like, generally the same people to come help, and they will gladly. Sometimes not as glad, but they'll still come help, and that's great. This time, he was like, oh, my gift to everyone was to not ask them for help because I didn't want to be the burden. I just wanted to invite them over to, when the house is all put together for like a party or whatever, and that would be great. What really happened is that some people were like, okay, that's weird. And then other people were actually disappointed because they enjoy helping. They enjoy being there for people. They enjoy the comfort of being able to help someone and not just with the expectation that they will get that help back someday. Some people, yes, some people, no. But just knowing that they were able to provide their skill of organizing or packing or lifting heavy things, right? Or helping them remember things that they may not have thought through at all for moving, right? And so that was the problem. And my husband actually came to this conclusion after like a therapy session or something. And I was like, I know, I was trying to tell you that. And it's okay that he like finally put it together talking to his therapist. That's fine. I wasn't mad about that. But I was just like, yeah, like you're not giving people the opportunity to do something that they really enjoy doing and giving back, especially if it's really important to them. So anyway, that whole story to really, 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 really push into the fact that you should ask for help. It'll definitely make your work, your week way better, especially if you have a lot of things to do and you don't know how to do some of them, or you just think it'll help you do it quicker so you can move on to doing more fun things with those same people, whatever it is. If you get a no, that's fine, but just ask. You won't know until you ask. And then maybe your week will be so much better because this task that was going to take 3 hours will only take one because multiple people can help. Ask for help. Number 8, set alarms to take breaks and eat snacks and meals. Yeah, you're probably like, this is a really classic one too, like confirm your appointments. Okay, maybe. Maybe. But I think it's a good one to help you have a good week because having reminders throughout the day, I don't think is a bad thing. I have lots of reminders that come up on my phone and I will swipe a lot of them away. But a lot of times I still will see them and my subconscious will like latch onto that and I will remember to do it later. And sometimes I will use my ALEXA. I cannot say that name out loud. I'm telling you, anytime someone does, and then it triggers my ALEXA, I'm just like triggered. I'm like annoyed. Anyway, um, so I will have that set alarms for me too. I will have like little notes up, whatever, to remind me of things I need to do. Now, specifically for me, I put to take breaks and eat snacks and meals because I have trouble stopping to eat or take a break when I'm fully, deeply focused, like at work or filming or a project. Or a lot of times, what happens, and my husband has really been trying to like get me out of the habit of doing this, and I feel like it's worked a little bit. But I still need more work. It's like he'll be like, okay, well, why don't you just do things in increments of time? Do it for 30 minutes and then step away and take a break or go do something else so that you don't overwhelm or like burn out on doing this one thing. I have a hard time with that. I'll just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to do one more thing. And then I'll do it. And then in doing that thing, I'll be like, okay, well, let's just do this thing too. And this and this and this. And it just continues to add up. And then I won't stop to take a break that I will need so I don't feel burnt out by the end of the day. I won't feel overwhelmed. I won't feel stressed. Or I won't stop to eat. And then by the time that like 3 o'clock rolls around and I'm about to leave to go do something, I'm like so hungry, but also I'm trying to get better about making dinner when it's not like 8 o'clock at night. But then if I eat something and then I make dinner shortly after, then I don't want to eat. And it's this whole thing. And that also causes problems for the other two people in my house that I cook for, right? And I can get hangry. I'm a hangry girl. It's not good. So my one of my doctors was very much like you have to set alarms, especially with like medication that I'm on. Like you have to set alarms. And I was like, okay. And so that's why I think this will help you have a really great week because if you struggle with those same things about taking breaks and eating, then you have that reminder and can help you feel better. And maybe we can all feel more energized because we're eating when we're supposed to. We're taking breaks that are helping us refresh when we need it and we're feeling even better about the week, right? So, you can also set reminders for like anything you need help remembering to do, right? If there are other things that you need help remembering to do throughout the day and the week that you often forget and then causes your week, not causes, it like leads to your week like not feeling as great as it could, then schedule those things in too. It doesn't make you weaker or not as smart or on top of like your life. You know how that can really like put some guilt and shame on you for needing that reminder to do something that it seems like other people are easily capable of doing. That's fine because there are things that they struggle with doing that you do just fine. And that's just how life is. We're all different and we're all good at different things. So we can come together as a community to help each other. That's how it is. Okay? So set alarms to take breaks or eat meals, snacks, or do whatever you need to get done so it gets done for that good week. Number 9, we're almost there, guys. Number 9, don't allow other people's moods to affect your mood. Don't allow other people's moods to affect your mood. So if you're an empath, like myself, you will struggle with this. Even if you're not, you can. It's easy. It's easy to struggle with this because if someone is really upset, but you're feeling all the joy in the world, that's usually me, you feel like you can't share that. You feel like you can't demonstrate that. You feel like you can't like be like happy when someone else is upset. And I'm not saying like you should be happy and in their face and like, oh my gosh, like life is great, even though you're going through someone like passing, right? You're going through like you lost a loved one. Like, no. But if they're having a hard time and you want to like offer like, okay, well, let me know if I can do anything for you. And then still and have your joy. You don't need to be sad just because they're sad. If you want to be sad, then be sad. But you don't have to be sad because they're sad, or you don't have to hide your joy just because they are having a hard day, right? Do it respectfully. You don't need to shove it in their face, but you need to exhibit and have the emotions and the feelings that you are having because you're having them. And it's good for you and it's healthy for you. And if someone is just mad and upset, they can be upset without you. They can be upset without you joining in, right? Because misery doesn't need company. Misery loves company, but it doesn't need it. It doesn't need you to just jump right in and like, be that last person in the pity party. It doesn't. So, and I'm not saying it's always like a pity thing or like this person's like upset, uh, even though they may not or they're being over dramatic about it or whatever. I'm saying like the whole spectrum of like people going through really hard things. It doesn't mean that you have to dim your light or your joy or your happiness. And if someone else is really happy, it doesn't mean that you can't be upset or however you're feeling because you feel like you're gonna be ruin their day or be a burden on them. Again, let's hop on back to number 3, where remember you are the only one in control of your emotions. So they are in control of their emotions. So just because you're upset and you're trying to grieve and you're trying to get through those emotions and figure it out and honor them and accept them and go through that whole thing, you don't have to be happy just because they're happy to make them happy. No, they just need to be strong enough and confident so they can be and feel however they want to feel. And then you can feel however you want to feel. Does that make sense? So don't allow other people's moods to affect your mood. Feel how you want to feel. And maybe that can be also a light or an example. It could be a light if you're like feeling happy and joyful and they aren't and they see you and they're like, oh, maybe I can feel that way. Or an example if you're angry and they're being all happy and positive, but maybe they're faking it and then they get that example from you that you're just allowing it to, move through you and you're not like trying to cover it up and they're like, oh my gosh, I can do that too. It can go both ways. So don't allow other people's moods to affect your mood. Number 10, and the last one that I have to share with you today. See, this is exactly why we started around minute number 7, 8-ish, because we had 10 and I had to get through all 10. And here we are at marker number 35. Okay, so remember, number 10, remember that you're still making progress even with mistakes, failures, and steps backward. Remember that you're still making progress even with mistakes, failures, and steps backwards. This will help you have a great week because if you are doing so well at bettering, not allowing people's moods to affect your mood, or not being a people pleaser, right? And being more confident and speaking your mind respectfully. And but then something happens, or you get spooked, or you lean into some fear, and you start really acting more in your people pleasing behaviors, or you put a cover over your joy and your happiness because someone else is in a really bad mood. You don't want to like make them worse. You don't want to like cause them to like blame you for it being worse, right? Or you're doing really well at learning a skill and then you make a mistake, or you fail at learning like the next step. Just because you have mistakes, failures, and steps backward, you fall back into old habits, something doesn't work out right, it doesn't mean that you aren't making progress anymore. It doesn't mean it's all for nothing. It doesn't mean that, you're doing a bad job. You're still making progress. Do you know why? You're still making progress because you're still trying. You're still doing something. Even if it was a mistake or a failure, what do we say, guys? What do we say? Mistakes and failures are the best learning lessons. Yes, they are. Mistakes and failures teach us a lot, and we will only experience those things if we continue to move forward, right? And then if we give up after those things, then what was all the other work for? It's not all for nothing. We need to keep moving. It'll just teach us something that we need to know on what to not do next time, or what to do next time, or what to look out for, or whatever it is. And then steps backward in regards to like mindset or behaviors or things that we are trying not to do, and then we do it, unintentionally or intentionally because we're just having a moment where we're feeling a little weaker. It's okay. It happens. We're not perfect. We're learning. We're still growing. We're trying to become our best self every day. And that's going to look different every single day. It's not going to look the same. And it's not always a step up. Sometimes it's literally just on the same step, just moving forward just a little more. So remember that you're still making progress, even with mistakes, failures, and step backwards. You may not feel like it, but you are, because you're not giving up. And that's the whole point. So, but that's it. That's all 10. That is all 10 ways to have a great week, to have the best week ever. And it's more of an unconventional list, which was the whole point. So I hope that it was helpful. And if you found it helpful, maybe you can share it with someone else that would find it really helpful. I would appreciate you sharing it. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for listening to the show. Thank you so much for listening to Real Positive Girl Podcast again with me, Sabrina. Thank you for listening, downloading, and sharing the show. I appreciate every single one of you. You guys are amazing. Do not forget to check the show notes below just to see if there's anything you're interested in, signing up, buying the journal, coming saying hi to me on social media, suggesting anything I should talk about, because I'm here to help you guys. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.